Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
And Merry Christmas. Wow, cannot believe it's here already. It seemed at the beginning of December like there was so much time before today was going to arrive and tomorrow, but boy, it sure goes fast. So for the first two Sundays this month, we've explored a different interpretation of the Lord's Prayer. And I think we've had some pretty rich and deep experiences if you've been a part of this. And I want to begin this morning, this Christmas Eve morning, with the first two lines of the first two versions that we explored. They are, O thou, from whom the breath of life comes, who fills all realms of sound, light, and vibration, may your light be experienced in my utmost holiness. And the second one, O birther, father, mother of the cosmos, focus your light within us, make it useful. So contained in both of those passages is the idea of the light of the divine being expressed through us and having that light be useful. And what better way to have our light shine in a useful way than to share our gifts with the world? So I want to share a story with you this morning, this Christmas Eve morning. If I had milk and cookies, and we actually do, we've got cookies out there, so if you want to grab one, we could really consider this like story time, right? But we're not going to do that. We'll save some of those cookies for Santa tonight, right? But please, feel free to partake of all the goodies out there. We'll have to do an abbreviated version of story time because really this story could be very long, but we're going to make it a little shorter. So here we go. Centuries ago, in a land far from here, a baby boy was born. From the time he was in the womb, he could feel his heartbeat, and he loved how it would be in sync and in rhythm with his mother's. When he was born, he came out banging his hands in the air. He kept his hands banging throughout infancy and into his toddler years. One day his uncle said to him, "Why, give that boy a hammer. He wants to be a carpenter." So they gave him a hammer, but it was too heavy and too hard, so the little boy didn't like it. He put it down and kept on banging into the air the beats that he heard in his heart and in his mind. One day off in the distance, he heard something he had never heard before, but it immediately called to him. He had to know what it was. So he ran in the direction of the sound to find out where it was coming from. And as he got closer to the sound, he came upon a man beating a drum with sticks, and his heart exploded with joy. He knew that was what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to beat a drum with sticks. So, as children can do, he begged and he begged and he begged his mother and father to buy him sticks and a drum. And they, as parents eventually do, succumbed to the beseeching and bought him what he desired. He played morning, noon, and night. He learned so many intricate rhythms, and the more he played, the more his heart sang. And the more his heart sang, the better and better he got. Then one day, word came to the village that a very, very special baby was to be born. The little boy's heart immediately said to him, "You must go play your drum for this baby. That will be amazing." So late one night, he left a note for his parents, wrapped his drum around his neck, and followed the North Star to where the baby was. Isn't it amazing how we are always guided when we are willing to share our gifts and follow our inner guidance? It's a pretty amazing thing that happens. So this little boy, he arrived early in the morning to see the people and the animals and the kings and the holy men gathered around the baby in the manger. One by one, they were coming forward with their gifts. He watched 3 kings come up and lay down really beautiful gifts, one at a time. The first was myrrh. What the heck was that, he thought. Everyone oohed and awed, and the little boy felt something in his stomach that he'd never felt before. He felt nervous and afraid. He felt that his gift that he was about to share, it suddenly seemed small and inadequate. You know, Brené Brown, we've all heard of Brené Brown. She talks about vulnerability and how we can feel this way right before we step into sharing our gifts. I've felt this way before, haven't you? right before you're ready to get up there. It's like, wow, what if I'm not good enough? What if it's not good enough? What if nobody likes it? Well then, as if it couldn't get worse, the next king set down frankincense. Now what is that, the little boy thought, and the crowd oohed and awed even louder. And the feeling in the little boy's stomach grew even more intense. Now he was sweating and thinking about how to leave and run away. How many times do we run away because we deem that our gifts are unimportant or not good enough? The third king laid down. What did he lay down? Anybody know what the third gift was?
Gold.
Gold, that's right, gold. And even the little boy knew what that was. And his stomach turned into a storm. He was now very, very clear that he was not going to play his drum. He had foolishly traveled so far. He should have known better. Who does he think he is? His gift paled in comparison to all of these. Then the newborn baby's mother looked at the little boy. She deeply looked at him, and slowly, with love in her eyes and in her heart, she nodded. The nod was almost imperceptible, but the little boy saw it and got the message. Without a word, she said, "Go ahead, offer your gift. It will be fine." So the little boy stepped forward. As he did, the manger started to fill with whispering, "Who is this boy? What is he going to do? Play that foolish drum?" Someone giggled, someone sneered, but the little boy just kept looking at the baby, and he began to play. He was hesitant at first, but then as the music started to take over him, and he suddenly became lost in the gift that he was there to share. So do you know what happened? Why, even the ox and the lamb kept time. All of nature felt the beauty of his gift. Then the true magic happened. The baby smiled. And it wasn't just a smile with his mouth. It wasn't just with his eyes. No, it was a smile with his entire being, which lit up the entire room with light. His little body glowed with joy, and in that moment, the little drummer boy knew that his gift was enough. It was way, way more than enough. So the question of this morning, this beautiful Christmas Eve morning, is what is your gift? What is your gift? How are you called to shine the light of God through and as you in a brighter way than ever before? What are you done sweeping under the rug or hiding under a bushel because of comparisons, of feeling not good enough or not ready? Wasn't it Mark Twain, and I could be wrong here, but I think it was Mark Twain who said that comparison is the death of joy. I remember that often because, man, it's so easy to look out there and see, wow, look at what this person has or that person has. And when you're looking outward, you're not remembering what you already have, what treasures you are, and what you have to be thankful for. The most important thing you can do right now for yourself and for our world as a whole is to share the gift of you. Share who you are, realizing that you are the gift of God, all wrapped up in a human package. Doesn't that feel good? Knowing that you are a gift of God. Each of us is a unique and important part of the universal tapestry of life. So I want to take some time this morning to do an exercise whereby each of you has the opportunity to identify a spiritual gift you have that you would like to share in a bigger and more meaningful way. To discover, rediscover, or commit to bringing forth your light wrapped in a package of your gift to the world. So let's take a moment right now and close your eyes and get comfortable. And we're going to do a little meditation now, and then later after my talk, Jeff's going to do an amazing meditation. So if you want to continue this on afterwards, this is fine. So this is our exercise for this morning. Close your eyes, visualize a beautifully wrapped gift with a large golden bow on it. Inside this beautifully wrapped box is the light of God. Inside this box is the energy of God. Inside this box is the power of God. Inside this box is the love of God. Inside this box is the gift of God, and that gift is you. So very slowly and carefully open the gift and look inside the box and see the gift that you are to the world. Get very clear and specific about it. In other words, saying, I am a gift of love is great and wonderful, but put some teeth into it by identifying one way, just one way you are going to do that, such as, I'm going to call the local children's hospital and look into volunteering there a few days a month. Or saying, I'm going to share my talents of intuition and support as a life coach. Those are good. But then say an action step or two for bringing that into the world in greater ways, such as by Friday, by the 29th, by January 7th, pick a date. I will have developed, finalized the protocol I will use as a coach and put together a marketing plan. What steps are you going to take to bring this gift? What steps? What can you do that's concrete, that moves you toward your goal? Be thinking on that and come back, and if you have something, record your gift and the action step on the card that was provided. If you'd like to do that now, if there's anything you'd like to. Just take a minute or two. Would anybody like to share what gifts we are? A gift that you have discovered and
Well, I feel I have this, and you've seen some of the creativity that I have, and it's just, I get inspired to do these things from different sources, but I know that ultimately it's that creative energy in me, and when I allow it to flow and when I accept it, then really fun things happen.
good things happen. That's wonderful.
And my biggest thing on that is, I'm involved with the music program up at Columbia College.
Yes.
And 99.99% of the time, I'm the bell ringer, the tambourine, the shaker, I do all the percussion stuff. But we had a Christmas, the Combo had a Christmas show at one of the local pubs. And there's two other drummers that couldn't make it. So it was my
You got to do
pleasure
it,
to
to step in
the drummer.
and be the drummer. Goes right with our story. I love it.
It was just a lot of fun.
Big drummer boy.
The big drummer boy. What?
Creativity and persistence. I'm the chairman for a fundraising to build a new addition to our Riverbank museum.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to cost $750,000. But I need to discard the can'ts, the won'ts, the don'ts. And one thing that I see that can really bring in some money is, and there are some ties here that I know about, is begin to research or continue research, getting Tom Hanks to Riverbank for a grand opening of one of his movies.
That would be a great fundraiser.
And I think it would be too, so now I just have to
set those
make
action
it
steps
happen.
and make it happen. Make it so,
Because
as
there are
Captain Picard would say.
ties there.
Make it so.
You can do it.
Anybody?
I will do it.
Anybody
Yeah,
else
you will.
want?
I can feel it.
Anybody else want to share?
I feel like my gift is the gift of courage and awareness, especially on an emotional level. I'm not afraid of my feelings, and my gift is to help people not to be afraid of all the feelings that they have, and to help them to see who they really are, and that it's not all that complicated to get through to the truths of who you really are. I have a gift of being able to do that.
Beautiful. Love it. Okay, so now, anybody else want to share? Okay. Now, like any gift, if you just put it away on the closet shelf, it's not going to do us any good, is it? That's why the gift you just identified this morning, it can be just like that. If you just leave here this morning and say, well, that was an interesting experience, and leave it at that, then really there was no reason to even come today. You could have slept in or baked some cookies, but finished all your shopping, right? Instead, I ask you to bring the gift you identified here this morning out into the world. Let's take some action steps here, because the world needs the light of your gift. And each and every one of us is so important in making this world the world that we want to see. It's so important. Every one of our beliefs and our thoughts and our actions, every one of us is so important. The world needs the light from your gifts. So I want to conclude today with a note from the universe. And this is Mike Julian. He writes, if it's not yet obvious, he's speaking as the universe, if it's not yet obvious to you, the real reason for this, for all seasons, is you. A more perfect child of the universe has never lived. Until now, only celebrations cloaked in myth and mystery could hint at your divine heritage and sacred destiny. You are life's prayer of becoming and its answer. Wow, you are the prayer and the answer. The first light at the dawn of eternity, drawn from the ether so that I might know my own depth, discover my new heights, and revel in seas of blessed emotion. A pioneer into illusion, an adventurer into the unknown, and a lifter of veils. Courageous, heroic, and exalted by legions in the unseen. This is who you are. This is who you are. To give beyond reason, to care beyond hope, to love without limit, to reach, stretch, and dream in spite of your fears. These are the hallmarks of divinity, traits of the immortal, your badges of honor. May you wear them with a pride as great as what we feel for you. Your light has illuminated darkness, darkened paths. Your gaze has lifted broken spirits, and already your life has changed the course of history. How powerful is that? This is the time of year we celebrate you. Bowing before greatness, the universe. And so it is.